And we are live, everybody. Episode 64, YWC Football Talk. Nightmare 10 and I back here. We're happy for reasons. I went over a little. I got to get some of these comments on here ready to go right now. So you know what, guys? You want to come in, join us live. I love doing these live podcasts. But before I keep on rambling, I'm going to let the rambling master go ahead and say what he's got to say.
What's up, YouTube world? It's your boy, Nightmare 10, once again. And of course, we're gonna talk about the GOAT today. No, I'm not a Bucs fan. Go ahead and answer it. Good Lord, I got that so many. I will say, I did see that. I saw a guy in Target wearing a Bucs. I was like, oh, congrats. It's giving him. It's like I wanted Brady to win. He goes, yeah, I'm a Brady fan too. I'm like, no, don't be wearing Bucs merch. What are you doing? Like, if it was a Tom Brady jersey, I'd have gave him that at least. No, come on, like don't do that. But anyways, that was just something that I thought off the top of my head. But
no, exactly. The only thing I thought about buying, because Barstool Sports is selling them right now, is they have like the shirt that's like split down the middle, where it's like half Patriots, half Buccaneers, and has like the goat right here. Like that, I thought about buying, or like even TB12 merch directly, but I will never buy a Buccaneers. I just can't buy a Bucs jersey. I won't do it. I'll feel wrong.
Let me say this. There's nothing wrong with buying a Bucs jersey. Just don't wear it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's something that you, like, as a Brady fan, like, if you want to, like, collect it and put it in, like, so that's part of the legacy, but, like, I just don't understand. Like, wearing it out, then you're a Bucs fan. Like,
No.
I'll say this, because I do this for other sports, not to interrupt you, but I do this in other sports, like, so I get it if that's what you've always done, like, you follow players, that's fine. Like, I think that's okay. I think that gets a lot of criticism, as long as you're not only following championship teams. So, like, but, like, if you're following players wherever they go, like, that's okay. But, like, just stick to what you're doing. Like, don't, like, if you're a Pats fan, don't just jump because Brady left. That's not how it works. Like, unfortunately, once you pick an organization, you kind of have to keep with that.
Exactly. Like, I've been asked that so much this offseason, or like even not like this offseason, but like years prior, like, oh, what are you going to do when Brady leaves? Are you going to go when Brady leaves? And I'm like, shut up. I'm loyal. I'm not staying around. There's only two players really who I like follow, and one's Tom and the other's Alex Ovechkin. I know they're two different sports, but like, for example, most people know, hey, I'm a Caps fan because of Alex Ovechkin, but my first love is always the Leafs. But with this case, though, no, like everyone's saying, like I was asked you, oh, am I going to buy any Bucs Super Bowl merch, or like, there was a whole spewing argument on Twitter. I don't want to get too much into it, but just people not seeing that you can support individuals. Like, if you like the individual for reasons, yeah, like you and I, like, you were a Patriots fan before Brady. I say this right now. I don't know if I'm the football I am today if it's not for 7-year-old me discovering Tom Brady. Like, there's just so many factors to that man that, like, if I've ever met him, I would just say thank you.
Yeah, and it's like, I think one thing too, like, I'm not gonna sit here and try to act like I'd be a fan still if it never, like, I don't know. You don't know how you are, like, because I was still a kid when I watched like Bledsoe and stuff. I just got lucky with Brady and I stuck to it, obviously. But like, you don't know how you are as a fan. There are different versions of fans. I get that. Like, obviously, I was always enriched with, I'm not gonna be the bandwagon. Like, I know eventually the winning's gonna stop. And I mean, there was a 10-year drought. We didn't go to the Super Bowl. I mean, we didn't win the Super Bowl. That we did go to the Super Bowl twice. But yeah, like look, people have asked me this question. I don't know if this is necessarily where you were going with this, but like, people have asked me this question before. Like, what are you going to do when the Pats? Like, let's see what Phil does when the Pats are losing. Like, look, I think I'm one of the, like, I don't know particularly about Griff yet, but like, because that's up to him. But like, for me, I can only speak for me, and I think like I'm grateful for what we got. Like, that's why I think I root for Brady. I rooted for Brady in the end. Like, I'm not going to root for him throughout the season. Like, it was one of those things where, okay, if we make the playoffs, like, until we're out, like, I'm not rooting for anyone but the Pats. And I always hate, like, everybody has, like, their secondary teams and stuff like that. I've always been against that. Like, I've had players that I root for. And so that doesn't change with Brady. If he wasn't in the playoffs, I would have had someone else that I, like, preferred to win. But I'm not going to root. Like, Brady, of course, was a different animal because I'm going to, root for him more than I would most players. But yeah, I'm not going to, like, jump team. It's like, that's just, I don't get that.
Exactly. And we have our first little comment of the night coming from a good friend of the show. I have to get this guy on at some point, but here we go. Pico, I've got a Favre Jets jersey in my closet for a reason. I'll buy a Rodgers Bears jersey if I need as well. Thanks for Pico for that. Because, like, yeah, like, eventually, like I said before in the video, Barstool Sports is selling these, like, the split shirts where it's like half Tampa, half New England. That I'll buy because, like, look, it's not team license. It's not team any of that. Like, Sunday night, too, I bought a You know how there is that? Okay, cool.
I'm looking up something.
Cool. I'm gonna vamp here for a bit. I'm gonna vamp. Okay. So basically, after the Patriots won their Super Bowl 2 years ago, I bought this black long sleeve shirt that had a 6 on it. Ignore the Husky; it's a hockey team. It's a hockey team in Quebec. But with the 6, it was at a 6, and then it had a TB12 logo on it because it's Tom's. It's Tom's brand. And on the back of this, all the Roman numerals from all the Super Bowls, 36, 38, 39, 49, 51, and 53. So I so I bought that after the Super Bowl because I go crazy whenever the team wins the Super Bowl. I usually buy merch, whether it's a t-shirt or a hat.
Sorry.
But for this case, like for Tom, he's released that shirt with a 7 on it. I'd consider buying that too. And even too, right here. I even thought about buying a split shirt. Those are sweet. Yeah, like I would never buy the ones because I see them out for sale all the time from like China and stuff like DHgate. But Barstool Sports, it's a brand I love. And also, too, they love Tom. So it's like, you know what? Best of both worlds scenario, Pico. It's split. But Phil, what do you got? All
right. So, so this is – obviously, this is outdated. This is even outdated from New England. Yeah. But this is from his website. So he was doing – I think it's from his website or either from one of his charities because I bought it because it was for a charity. I think it was like – $25-$30. I'm like, but it's for charity, so like I definitely want to do it. But he came out with that. So obviously it's outdated because it only has 5. But like, yeah, I'd buy stuff like so. I think he's selling stuff or is going to sell stuff that has like the 7. I think also I don't know if you follow. I retweet him a lot. His name is Fitzy.
Yeah, I know who he is.
But yeah, so like he's posted like the 7-Eleven like with the 7. Like I might get that shirt. I don't know. I haven't decided. But yeah, like stuff like that. Like that's fandom stuff. Like I will say this about Pinko though. I don't know if I could ever buy a Tom Brady Jets jersey. So the fact that because the Bears would be the equivalent of that, I would assume. Maybe not to Pinko, but to the Packers, I would think the Bears are their biggest rival. Maybe Minnesota, maybe I don't know. But you bought.
I'd say Chicago. I'd say Chicago more than Minnesota.
Yeah. So like I just don't. Obviously, I don't. Hopefully, that never happens, so I don't have to think about that. But I'm not going to say that if I don't see I don't want it now, obviously, because he's active. But once I guess my thing is while he's active, I probably wouldn't buy it. But like if it was ever on sale, like after he retired, like maybe I'd buy a Bucks Brady jersey, like to put in like some kind of collection down the line. But
like those clearance DVDs at a Chevron.
Because I've got actually funny thing is jerseys go. I don't know if you guys know this or not. I know Pinko does. We bought some at the I bought a Malcolm Butler jersey at the National because it was like what was it Pinko like $25 or something like that. You know, it's like He said if Matt LaFleur wasn't an idiot, we'd be talking about Rodgers right now. Well, you have a case for that. You have a case for that.
I do have something to say, though. People were talking about not Matt LaFleur, but Aaron Rodgers today because I listened to The Dime Package. It's a football podcast from Barstool, hosted by 2 girls, Francesca Mariano, I think Marino, her name is, and Casey Smith, 2 girls. But they talk football and they also talk pop culture. And one thing that I want to notice, they were talking about Aaron Rodgers and how he got engaged and all this other stuff like this. And also there was other rumors to him that I don't want to get into. But he was still in the news because he just like slipped it in his MVP speech where he's like, oh, yeah, and by the way, I just got engaged. So it's just like completely under the radar. But I'll say this and I'll say this again too quickly. But Aaron Rodgers, I think the rumors about him leaving Green Bay are like a little like he said it in the moment. He did. I don't think it's one of those things where it's like he meant it. I think, when it's like what's the word I'm looking for? Your emotions are at an all-time high and you're just pissed off. So you kind of just say whatever comes out of your mouth. You don't have time to think it over.
He explains. So on that, Griff, he explains more of that on the way he said it, what he said on the Pat McAfee show.
I saw that too.
Or like, so if you want to know why he said what he said, I think that's a good thing to watch. I think like he was just being honest because it's not up to him. It really isn't. Like that's a true like I will applaud Rodgers for saying that because if the team doesn't want him, they can get rid of him. It's not technically up to him. And I think that's why he was being like real about that.
Let's see right here.
Yeah,
At no point was I afraid of the Chiefs. Whoever won the Packers-Bucks game was always going to win the Super Bowl, in my opinion. That was before the Chiefs did what they did. And then now we got Matt B saying, I agree, Rodgers is going nowhere. You know what? I actually agree with Pico on this one because, look, if the Green Bay defense played the way they did against the Tennessee Titans, the way they shut down Derrick Henry, if they applied that and did that to Kansas City, I think though we don't get a blowout the way we did because honestly, Todd Bowles game plan the game of his life Sunday night.
Here's the thing too, like to Pico's point, I actually agree with that too because Green Bay actually got to Brady. that was one of his worst throws I think I've ever seen him throw. Was one of the ones that I don't know who it was on the Packers. Pinko might remember, but like got to him, he's like laying back and he just decides to launch it up like he thinks he's Patrick Mahomes or something. Like, like that was like one of the worst throws I've ever seen from Brady. I don't think the Saints. I don't know if the Saints could beat. Well, they had a good defensive line too. So that offensive line with the Chiefs, which by the way did not have Eric Fisher, which I forgot about that.
Mitchell Schwartz. They're missing two guys.
Yeah, but he's been out all year though, right? He hadn't played in the playoffs, right?
I don't know. But one other note though is the Buccaneers played the entire playoffs, or at least 3 more important games. A wild card was still important, but we all knew they were probably going to beat the football team. Like the Saints, Packers, and Chiefs games, they were without Alex Kappa, who is a really good right guard for them. So that's just one thing to note as well. That hey, the Packers, not the Packers, the Bucs got done with a backup offensive lineman as well. The big thing with this though, and I also was looking at the film too with this game was, look, I saw a lot of Super Bowl 50 comparisons because Mike Remmers, who was the replacement for Fisher for the Chiefs line, he was also on the Panthers when the Panthers got stomped by the Broncos in that boring Super Bowl 5 years ago. And yes, for everyone who can say that, a part of me says that because I was salty because I thought the Pats should have been there. But that game was boring, Super Bowl 50. Cannot fight me on that. So,
yeah,
and that game too, though, like, but Phil, I just want to say one more thing. But remember, too, that game, Cam got all the blame for everything that happened. There was the one fumble where he looked like he didn't go down and he admitted to that he didn't want to get himself hurt. That I hold against him. But for this game, too, for everyone just to try to steer the blame away from Mahomes, like at the same time, too, Mahomes did not have a good game. Like he still threw for a crazy amount of yards. And even to like Travis Kelce still caught for 130, which is insane in a 9-point scoring game. He still had 130 yards receiving. That's insane for a tight end with that low score of a game.
Yeah, Griff, I think now people are going to say I'm like, this has nothing to do with Brady before I even say anything. Like, Mahomes does deserve some of the criticism. Look, like whether you want to give it to him or not, look, that offensive line was horrible. Okay, like there's no, I'm not denying that one bit. He was running for his dear life. Like we still talk about it at work. How Mahomes got away with not being murdered. Like it was like Sue was gonna kill him. Like literally going to kill him. Like I'll say literally. That's a little extreme, but you know what I mean. Like so. Go ahead, Griff.
I had a feeling I was going to pick a defensive player to win MVP. Going into the game, I said Devin White was my pick for MVP for that game because I had a feeling he was going to, for lack of a better word, FSU, if you know what I mean. If you know, you know. But then also, too, right here, I think a lot of people were happy that the Panthers lost that day too, Matt. But that was the one Super Bowl where I was like, I really don't care who wins or who loses. Kind of like Super Bowl 54.
But I kind of forgot about that Super Bowl too. One thing I was going to say is like I forgot that score that. They didn't score that much. Like Peyton Manning didn't need to. Like there was just not like, and so that's the same thing. How much more do the Bucs play if the Chiefs end up getting a touchdown instead of a field goal their last possession, or like a lot of things happen. I mean, I don't think. All right, let's see what Pinko said. I don't think Mahomes deserves all the criticism. I like to say 20% his fault, 80%, and it might even be less than that, Pinko. Like I'm not saying that Mahomes. I mean, Mahomes was running for his life, so I'm not knocking Mahomes, but I do think. Like, oh, look, like every player deserves their like you're not exempt because you're the quarterback of the future. Like you're not exempt for that. But bottom line is they got beat because they got outcoached, they got outplayed. Like you know what I'm saying? Like you know it's cool, Pinko, that you can't type tonight. I can never type or talk, so you're okay. But no, what I'm saying with Mahomes,
best of us.
Yeah, it's best of us. But yeah, Mahomes will be fine. Like one, make sure you have a healthy offensive line because eventually it's going to cost you, which is what happened. Like, I understand it wasn't their fault. Eric Fisher losing them in the AFC Championship, there's nothing you can do. But if you could build and always have, like, those guys, like, I think New England's not – I'm just using because that's who I know. They're good about, like, putting plug and play. Like, there's some offensive linemen that maybe aren't the greatest, but they can come in, and that's how, like, Joe Thuney was like – I said butcher's name. Joe Thuney was like that. Like he wasn't, if I remember correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong, somebody. But like he was, I think he was one of those ones that kind of like came in and out, and then he became the starter once we lost some people.
Exactly. So, yeah, that happened. I believe that's what happened.
Yeah. So that's the example I'm using in that regard.
I do agree with what Mike is saying, though, the percentage-wise. Like, I'm not saying that, Mahomes deserves 100% of the blame. I'm just saying that, look, you can't go on and say, like, he can do no wrong or anything. When in reality, too, like, it was just one of those times he had a bad game. He, like, unfortunately, it was at the wrong time. But for everyone going out here and saying this, like, he's never going to get back, or he's never going to do this, like, he's going to be back in the Super Bowl. It's going to happen. But I'll stop you there, Griff. Yeah.
Not to interrupt. But like, there's no guarantee. Like
Nope.
that's the thing I've said before this. Now, granted, if we had to guess, I think we'd all guess he's back, right? Like at some point. And
if I had to bet money on it right now, I'd bet money that the Kansas City Chiefs would be in the
100%.
Super
And
Bowl.
I need it to happen after finding a certain something. But a big shout out to Pinko who knows that. I'm saving that for later. But yeah. So like, you just don't know. Like you saw with Seattle, like no one predicted that Seattle would drop off. Like I don't think so. Like because they lost to New England on a last second play. Like who would have thought that Seattle would essentially drop off after that and never get back? Like you don't know what could happen. Yes, on paper, you don't think the Chiefs would be good, but what if the Chiefs start imploding? What if people start leaving? And what if the Chiefs get the wrong piece? You just don't know. I obviously think Mahomes will be fine at quarterback, but like Rodgers, like Pinko just said the same thing. If McCarthy and LaFleur didn't butcher him, who knows how many more Super Bowls that Rodgers would at least reached, like whether he won or not. But
I'll say yes to the McCarthy part, but I'm saying no to LaFleur. I'm saying that more is on Brian Gutekunst. And I just put this one comment from Mike Pico up for so long. It sounds weird I call him Mike because it's true. This one is true right here. It was basically, you know what? He was the face in the tag team match that's like always scratching and clawing to get to the pulse, but then the heels won the match.
His new comment. Yep, I could not agree with this comment anymore. That's
what I agree with that too because I also said this too, and this is a take that I believe. Well, there's two things I want to say. One is that the Chiefs Dynasty GOAT conversation, that door is shut for now. I'm not sure what you're drinking, but since we're showing that off,
cheer wine. Bubbly.
Sparkling
I don't
water.
I don't even know if we have that anywhere but the South, but I love me some cheer wine.
No idea what that is. But no, I do agree with him on this because that's the one take that I have is like, look, let's close the Mahomes GOAT talk or even calling him the baby GOAT and to the Chiefs Dynasty talk. That door is shut for me until they win a second Super Bowl in the next 5 years. Well, the other take that I have that relates to this is that I believe next year it'll be easier for Tom Brady to get to the Super Bowl than Patrick Mahomes. Now, why I'm saying that is because there's so much quarterback uncertainty in the NFC right now, and the AFC is getting better. There's going to be a lot of competition for Kansas City next year. You're going to have Buffalo. You're going to have potentially Miami. The Chargers are coming up. The Raiders have potential to make noise. And the Raiders, too, I think the Raiders are going to be that thorn in their side. Like, you know how Miami for years was that thorn in New England side and still is? I think the same thing's going to happen there. If the Colts get someone good at quarterback, they're a Super Bowl contender. The Patriots could be back. The Dolphins are coming up. The Cleveland Browns are getting better. The Pittsburgh Steelers could be back. Like, there's so many good teams in the AFC, and then there's so much uncertainty with the NFC that you don't know what's going to happen.
I think you couldn't say it any better. First of all, before I comment on what you said, cheer wine is nothing like Dr. Pepper to me. But I kind of see what you're saying with that.
I had to put it up.
It's pretty good.
I said to put it up. I got some sparkling. I got some cherry bubbly. A little bit of the bubbly.
I think it's disgusting, but as long as you like it.
I'm just trying to look.
I haven't tried that one, but it's better for you. I'll give you that. It's better for you than what I'm drinking.
Dude, this is why I'm drinking this right now. Just because, like, during the week, not to go off topic a bit, but I like during the week, I kind of like watch what I eat and drink, and then so on the weekends, I kind of let myself go because I'm trying to drop a little bit of weight right now.
There's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, so like you said, what I mean is not a knock on Mahomes or the Chiefs. The knock is there's so much, like Matt just said it, like. There's a lot of questions going into this offseason, but it's going to be fun to see where all the cards land because there's so much. Like, who knows what could happen? One with just New England. If we just talk about one team, there's so many possibilities at quarterback for New England. So, like, that's just one option. But, like, you got, that it's rumored, but now Russell Wilson's getting, like, I don't think they have to offer, like, the moon and the sun. But
I got some stuff to say about that in a bit.
Okay, yeah, I'll let you comment on that in a minute. But, like, so, yeah, like, I mean, Russell Wilson, is Watson going to get traded? I mean, I just heard today the Houston Texans are like a beat writer or somebody said
they're going to play hardball with him.
There's literally no shot he gets traded. No shot. Like eventually it could happen, but right now Texans are hard knowing it. So that's interesting. And then you have, of course, Stafford on the new team. Like there's so many different. I mean, I could keep going on and on. Jimmy G, does he stay in San Fran? Does he come back to New England? There's just so many different options. I could go on and on and on, which is basically what Griff was getting at. That I just don't, and the window in general, not even an offseason like this, like in a regular offseason, the window to win Super Bowls closes so fast. So, like, your team has to be good nonstop. That's what's so impressive about what the long run of New England was able to do. Like, yeah, they went 10 years without winning one, but they were able to basically have two separate dynasties in a 20-year period. That's unheard of. So like, yeah. And as far as like Chiefs, like the Chiefs are definitely the dominant AFC team. Like you can't, until they are knocked off in the AFC Championship, I think, Griff, you have to call them a semi, not a dynasty, but like a growing dynasty in a sense. But like, because they won until they get beat in the AFC. I mean, we won, what was it? 6 straight AFCs? Was that right? Not a 6 straight. We went to
11,
6 straight AFC
12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 8.
We went to 8 in a row?
2011 to 2018.
Dang, I thought we went some. Are you sure?
Yep. Yep.
I thought it was like 6. Okay, maybe it was 8. I don't know. Yes,
no,
it's crazy.
It was 8.
So I mean, that's what I was saying. Like, so until the Chiefs are not in the AFC Championship again, like, I mean, they're there. They're a top running team, you know.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, no one's here saying like, oh, the Chiefs are like gonna fall off a cliff or anything. Like, shout out Max Kellerman. But I'm just here saying that, look, I think a lot of people realize this year that what New England did was special. Like, obviously, yes, going to 3 straight AFC Championship games and yes, 2 Super Bowls in your first 3 years is incredible for Patrick. But it kind of shows that, look, because I remember last year when he won, everyone was saying, oh, he's going to win like 7 in a row. Like they're like, they basically did the LeBron James, like not 5, not 6, not 7. Like it's one of those things where it's like,
that doesn't do him any favors. That doesn't do him any favors at all, which is what I was trying to say. Like I've always like I come off as a hater, but it doesn't do him any favors with Mahomes. Like I like Mahomes. I've always liked Mahomes. I just think crowning him before he's done the achievements of like, you know, like he has broke like as a young, if he had won, he'd been the youngest quarterback to win 2, right? I believe. If he had
believe so.
So he may still have that chance next year. I don't know what the record is, but so I mean, yeah, it's like I don't know. I just think it puts a lot of pressure on the player itself. And so then when he loses, it knocks him down when he shouldn't be knocked down at all. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like in my eyes, I lost nothing at all made me lose any respect for either quarterback in that game. Like I understand Mahomes got destroyed and I understand Brady played well, which also is like not being talked about. Like Tampa Bay's defense is played great, and I'm not taking anything away from Tampa's defense. But Brady played as good as he needed to. Like he looked awful in the NFC Championship game. Like I think you can agree with that, right? Like he looked awful, but they still found a way to win, whether it was the Packers including in that or not. But yeah, I think Brady played well, so he did what he needed to do. I think I'm going to butcher the stat, but I think Brady had like his 3rd or 2nd best QB rating, I believe, in the Super Bowl. Might be the 3rd. I can't remember, but
not 100% sure. But the one thing that I do know, and I do want to get to Matt's point. I want to get to Matt's point about this, and then about Russell. But with this game, a lot of people, and this is the thing I love, the thing that Brady haters say. Like everyone who goes, oh, it's always luck that happens. Like, oh, he always gets lucky. Like, you know what? Sometimes you need luck to win. Like the Malcolm Butler play, that was luck. Like for as great of a pick route as it was, Phil, it was lucky.
I mean, well, there's some luck involved in that they happen to pick the call that you practice. Like they practice that. Like I don't know if you saw the practice video, but yeah, I mean, there's the Edelman catch. Like it's an amazing catch, but there's luck involved in that. And whether people want to admit it or not, I'm sorry, the David Tyree has some luck catch to it as well. Like it just. I
took a lot of flack for saying that on a TikTok a few weeks ago. That I still think that there was luck involved in that play. That I will stand on that hill that David Tyree catch. That was luck, and also Manning getting out of that sack. Both of those. But here's the thing. I'm going to post it right now. Matt's right. Luck is getting into the Super Bowl. There's also obviously 2 screwy circumstances, like what happened, unfortunately. Sorry, Matt, 2 years ago to the Saints. But then even stuff like, look, the Chiefs, there was a chance they don't even go to the Super Bowl because remember, they were getting their butts kicked by Houston last year in the divisional round. If Houston doesn't muff that punt or go for it on that fake punt on 4th down, who knows if Kansas City comes back. Same thing, too, against Tennessee. Like, Mahomes had that great run before halftime. The other parts to it, too, as well, with Brady throwing the interceptions was that, look, Rodgers never capitalized on those interceptions in the NFC Championship game. So there's just, like, luck it has a huge part of football. Like, even
if he runs like he normally runs, like,
even if he gets to the 2, even if he gets to the 2-yard, even if he gets to the 2-yard line, it's 4th and goal from the 2, you can go for it in that spot because you don't want to know why. You go for it in that spot and you don't make it. You know what? At least you tried. They took the coward's way out.
Yeah, and I don't even know if luck is the right word. Like a lot of, but a lot of things have to happen for you to get to a Super Bowl. Like it's just like, I agree.
Go your way.
And Matt will agree with this. Like Brady does get all the credit when he doesn't deserve all of it. I agree with that. Like I think that you do need to share the love. But Brady has done something that no other quarterback has done. That's why the praise is so high. I think, yeah, it is. It needs to go to the whole team because the Bucks team as a whole, like that's why he went there because he had a chance to like they were literally only missing him. Like that's literally what they needed. And obviously when Brady goes, like I think it's very appreciated how much winning, like not winning. I hate to say because QB wins is not everything. Let me just go ahead and preface that. But like his winning mentality, the way he works, like Mike Evans has come out talking about it. Godwin, other guys have come out. Fournette has talked about how Brady's just different. And Bruce Arians, finally, I think that was one of the things he had to learn in the beginning of the year. Like he was going to be like, nah, Antonio Brown's not coming and this and that. So, I mean, I think, do we think luck will come back to take away Brady's luck? How many people are asking that? What?
That's more will Father Time finally come knocking. But if we know anything about him, that Tom has defeated him several times. So that's literally his enemy. I think now, honestly, it's up to him when he wants to retire. I don't think anything's going to force him to retire or he's going to have a performance. Sorry, Matt, again, that like what Drew Brees had in the NFC divisional round this year. I don't think anything like that's going to happen. I think Tom eventually is going to know when it's time to go.
Here's my thing. I actually think that I'm a huge Brady fan, but I'm actually going to disagree with you, Griff. I actually don't. I think that's what's going to be Brady's downfall is because he could essentially end on a bad note because he wants to play till he's 45 or wants to play even past that. So because I think he wants to play as long as he thinks he can go. And so I think that could even mean say they come up short, playoff loss, whatever against the Bucks, and the Bucks decide not to re-sign him because they just don't think the money like they got their ring. Maybe they get 2 rings. I don't know. And he wants to play again. So where does he go after that? Like my thing too, Matt. Like I don't understand what else there is to prove. I mean, I understand if you want to keep playing, but like, okay.
Phil, have you seen this? I'm going to cut you off here. Have you seen the schedule for 2021? Have you seen like who plays who?
I didn't like the next year's. Yes, we play them in Tampa. We play them in Tampa.
No,
right?
The Bucks come to Foxborough.
Are you sure? I thought we played them in Tampa.
Yep, the Bucks are coming to Foxborough. The Bucks will be at Gillette Stadium in 2021.
So that might be his only reason why he wants to, because he wants to beat Bill.
I literally think that I think he wants to have that also too. Apart from the most championships, think about it. But think about it. If he has that, he's also going to be able to say, I've beaten all 32 NFL teams because I'm pretty sure he's beaten all 31. There's no team that really stands out that he hasn't beaten. That I can think of.
I thought there was one other team besides the Pats, but Pats might be the only one. You might be right.
It was the Panthers for a while, but he beat them in the Super Bowl. I'm pretty sure he's beaten every.
No, it wasn't. He beat the Panthers in the Super Bowl forever ago, Griff.
That's what I'm saying. 2004.
Oh, you're talking about like a regular season. He might not have beaten them in the regular season though. I don't know if that.
He did this year. He did twice this year.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, never mind. Well, I
keep
thinking in New England. Never mind. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. No. He never beat because I remember there was 2 games where Cam beat like the Patriots on like last minute stuff. Like Graham Gano had a field goal, and then there was a missed pass interference against Luke Kuechly on Rob Gronkowski on Monday Night Football.
I was at that game. I was at that game.
Man, I was swearing at my TV when that happened.
Put Pinko's comment in. I'll comment on that.
Phil, if you kept winning at something, why wouldn't you want to continue to win and had it?
Oh, I get that, Pinko. But what I'm saying is, eventually. Like, so he lost last year, though. He lost in New England. Like, he like, if that was his last, like, obviously he didn't want to go out like that. But, like, so what if that happens this year? He goes with, like, we won the Super Bowl, and then the very next year, lost to the Titans, and he did not look good in that game. So he wins against the Bucks, and then he has a bad finish. Is he going to come back again? Like, that's my thing.
You know what? His contract's only for this year. I'm going to get to Randy's question in a minute. But I think, you know what? He's got his contract till this year. I don't think he signs an extension this offseason. I think, you know what, if he ends up more than likely the Bucs would beat the Patriots this coming season. And then more than likely, there's a chance that he's in LA next February. I think next year is his final year. I think 2021 will be his final season in the NFL.
And I'll say this: I don't think if the Bucs sign him to an extension, Brady suckered him. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, like you got stuff like Mike Evans already coming out and saying, "Oh yeah, I want to give back money to be able to afford other players," which you can say that in the moment, but even to like yesterday at the parade, I'm going to put Randy's question up now before I answer it. You have Bruce Arians saying like, "Oh yeah, we want Levante David back," but like when it comes time to talk, like the Bucs have a lot of key pieces they got to lock up. They got Chris Godwin, Leonard Fournette, Antonio Brown, Rob Gronkowski, Sue, Shaq Barrett, Levante David. I didn't say Sue because I don't want to butcher his first name, but they've got so many things they've got to do. Ndamukong Suh. There we go.
It's hard.
That is where, you know what, Jason Light really has to buckle down and make sure that he gets all these pieces locked up. And I want to get into Randy's thing for a minute. I love the boat parade. Like, look, you're not near the people at all. Like, people can just go on their boats and they're like little bubbles and do that, even though I know obviously Florida doesn't give a shit about COVID. But you know what? I love the boat parade. The Lightning did it when they won the Cup back in September, and then the Bucks did it now. You know what? You have the resources. You had the beautiful Florida weather. You know, I doubt, like, on a duck boat, you would ever see Tom Brady just chucking the Super Bowl from one boat to the other, like duck boat to the other. The fact that he did it in that moment, like, the boat parade, honestly, was perfect. I loved it.
All right, so I'll comment on the parade since you got that up.
Yeah.
I personally think it's not a good look for America. But, I mean, if they're safe, I don't know the protocols and all the things they did. And it's like, I just saw a lot of people without masks. So I'll be the opposite of what you're saying. I didn't have a problem with it personally, but I get where it's not a good look for America because we're trying to get away from it, away from the virus. So hopefully nothing spreads from that. So I will just be real and say that. But yeah, as far as Brady and everything, I mean, that's him throwing the thing. I mean, throwing this trophy. I was telling everybody that forgot, like, Gronk used the trophy, I don't know after what Super Bowl, you could probably tell me, as a baseball bat and, like, dented the entire, like.
That was a Sox home opener, I think 2017 or 19. One of the Sox openers. I like the boat parade for the sense of, look, you don't have millions of people lining the streets like you normally do. I went to the Raptors parade in 2019 when they won, and that's what happened. But with this one, I'm just saying, look, like I said, I'm okay with it in the sense of, you know what, obviously people still lined up around the harbor and watched them, but it's Florida. Like, when I see all these TikToks about people saying, why was there 25,000 people at the Super Bowl, but I'm not allowed to do this? I'm just like, because it's the NFL and because money talks, unfortunately. We're in a world where money talks. I'm not saying that, look, I'm not saying I'm anti-masker or anything. Look, I wear my mask wherever I go. I respect social distancing. I do all this stuff to prevent myself from getting COVID and anyone that I know. But I'm just saying, look, Florida does not care about COVID. They've been open this entire time. I think they were shut down for like 2 months.
Yeah, anyways, the only other thing about the boat, I'm so sick of COVID talk, to be honest. Not trying to be like, I'm not anti-mask or anything. No. I want to talk about sports because I'm so sick of COVID.
You know what? That's what we're here for.
But well wishes to everything else. So I don't have any more comment about that. But I will comment on a couple of things that have been said. One thing I will say, one real quick, is seeing Tom Brady drunk was a sight to see. Let me just, if you haven't seen that video, I'm like, this is not the same Brady in New England. This guy is he's gone. He's just going off.
Him with a tan, and him getting into Tyrann Mathieu's face, and him cursing and fired up in the huddle when it was like 30 seconds to go. I'm like, what has Florida done to this man? But he's a Florida man.
Yeah. One thing I will say though is I'm happy for him. Like, this is the end of your career. I'd much rather him have fun than if he's going to be miserable in New England. Then I'm not saying he would have been, but I'm just saying, like, that's what's out there. If that's true, if he was miserable, go find happiness. Like I'm sorry, like, I'm just not the bitter fan. Like, Bill has to be better about that. Like, he has to be a better player, coach. And as far as going, to comment on stuff that Matt's talking about, I said Matt, but Matt said something about Tom will be the fourth to do it if he beats the Pats. I don't know what he was talking about. I think he meant the fourth.
I think the fourth to have beaten all 32 teams. I'm pretty sure Peyton has done it as well.
Is that player or quarterback?
That's got to be player. I'm pretty sure quarterback. It's pretty sure quarterback.
Yeah, it's probably quarterback.
The one thing, though, that I'm going to say right now that Pico had this up earlier, I want Jimmy on the Patriots. Like, there's a lot of people out there who aren't Patriots fans who are like, oh, why? He's this. I'm like, I just don't think he works in the Shanahan scheme. Belichick will use him to the best of his abilities. Like, or even to, like, obviously he had the high ankle sprain issues this year, and then he tore his ACL in 2018. I'm like, when people say he's injury prone, I'm like, torn ACLs happen every single year in the league.
Yeah, so his Breeze beat the Saints while he was in the Chargers, wasn't he? Didn't he? I think.
Yeah, he was on the Saints. He was on the Chargers from '99 till 2005, and then 2006, 2020. Excuse me, he was the Saints.
Well, I'm saying, like, he beat the Saints is why he was on the Chargers. I knew he was on the Chargers. I watched during that time, but no. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I agree with. I don't know what we were talking. I lost train of thought.
Shout out to Eastern Illinois University, by the way.
Yeah, I think Jimmy G. Like, there's health concerns, and I think you have, like, I don't want to give up a lot of capital for him, but I'd be very intrigued. Like, I'm not saying I would kind of go into the season with, like, not like high expectations, like kind of just about where we finished, and see like if I'm, I don't know where I would stand as far as, because he needs weapons still. Like Cam, I think Cam coming back as like, I know I'm in the minority, but I think Cam coming back as a starter with more weapons and more help, we would do better. And with an offseason, I think that would still be better. I'm not saying that that's the long-term answer. I don't think it is, Griff. I don't think it is the long-term answer. Yeah. But I do think that it's not a bad answer. If you don't have a guy that you are loving, like draft your quarterback in the draft this year, if you can do that. But you need weapons. Like, that's the ultimate goal there. I'm going off on a Patriot rant anyway. But I agree with Matt Beast, too. Like, Gronk's Gronk's going to play for pennies on the dollar to play with Brady. That's the only reason he came back. So I agree. And he's definitely not doing anything. If Brady leaves, I think Gronk's done, too.
Yeah, you know what I think Gronk will stay, because he'll take next to nothing. I think the same for Antonio Brown. It's just the big questions are like Levante David, Chris Godwin, and Leonard Fournette. It's like, what are they going to command on the market? Because I think Godwin's gone. I personally think Chris Godwin is gone.
Someone made a prediction. Obviously, I'm not saying he'll go here, but I saw some bold prediction of him going to the Jags for max money. I was like, yeah, that's probably going to happen.
Honestly, I can see him getting paid by a bad team, getting big money, because that's what happens a lot in free agency. Phil, we've seen it with the Patriots. Like, we know we're going back to that, but hey, that's what Phil and I know. We've seen many Patriot players leave the Patriots, go to bad teams because they want to get paid, and then their performance deteriorates. So we'll see what happens, because that also has to do with the fact that Belichick knows when it's time to not pay someone. That is one thing that Belichick's good at.
And one thing I'll say, too, we talked about this earlier, but it made me think of that when you said the Belichick paying or whatever. Like, someone's going to overpay for some of these players that are free agents on the Bucs team because they won a Super Bowl. It happens every year. Like Calvin, I'm not saying Calvin only got overpaid, but he got paid. Like, people are going to pay them to leave. It's like, why would Calvin Van Noy leave the Patriots? Well, because some people, go after the money. Like, I think Danny Amendola did it too.
Jamie Collins did it.
Jamie Collins, he ended up coming back. But I think who'd you say was a free agent on the Bucs defense?
Levante David, but
David. I don't think he goes, but if he got a money and that was what he wanted, he could. So,
yeah. Danny Shelton did it. Malcolm Brown did it. The one thing right now that I'm going to touch on right here with Matt said is I think Fournette does sign on the cheap, but I think it's one of those things where he's going to get those enticing offers of, hey, we'll give you 10. I think he'll get single digits if he stays with the Bucs, but there could be a team that could be pressing up towards that double-digit million mark.
I don't know though. Would they? I don't know. I know he won a Super Bowl and he scored. I just
Teams
don't know.
Stupid.
GMs
are stupid. Some of them make stupid moves. I'm just saying. I would not.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not arguing with that. But
I want to give my take on Russell Wilson right now.
I think he stays though. Is what I'm getting at. Sorry.
Oh yeah, I think Fournette stays too. It's just you never know. I think there's going to be offers on the table. I just want to go to this Russell Wilson thing for a second, just to talk about it. I don't think this was him saying I want out. I think this is him saying get me help, get me a good offensive line. Because when I've looked at Seattle, I saw the record, Seattle, how much their cap's gone to the offensive line. They're 31st in the NFL on money spent on your offensive line. But if we've learned anything over the last few years, you need a good offensive line to win in this league. That was my big concern for Tampa going into the year, was their offensive line. Guess what their most improved part of their team is besides their defensive backs? Their offensive line.
Yep. He said it. You said it perfect. Yeah. You can say it every year, and obviously casual fans always going to scream quarterback. But the game is won on the line of scrimmage. Me and my dad talked about this the other day. He heard it on one of the guys that he watches on ESPN. And I was like, yeah, Dad, because literally the game is won on the line of scrimmage. If you can't block for your quarterback, it don't matter who you have. As we've showed, did we not see proof in the Super Bowl? That is 100% proof. You have Patrick Mahomes, who is a magician. They even called him that. Who called him that? Godwin, I believe. He was a magician out there and still couldn't get it done because you got to have time to throw. You have to. And now, granted, props to the defense of the Bucs for covering people too. And I'll say this too. We didn't say this earlier. One little quick point. Mahomes' receivers weren't helping him out either. So
no. That's the
he got him some possibilities. Can you imagine if Mahomes had that guy that could bring I don't know a good example, but a really big receiver that could just top up and grab it. We might see some insane plays, but he doesn't really have that. He has Kelsey, but outside of him.
Exactly. Because here's the thing that you have right now, and I'm going to get to Randy's point in a second. They had the perfect game plan. You know what? They played 2 safeties deep. They played their corners up so their safeties could drop into coverage, get them, and run man coverage, run zone coverage the entire game. You rush 4 at Mahomes. Because that's the mistake that the Raiders did against Mahomes on that Sunday Night Football game back in November. They had no one back deep, and the Raiders defense rushed 4 at him to try to get the sack. They got too eager. Mahomes threw a dart to Travis Kelce in the end zone to effectively win the game against Vegas in Las Vegas. This question I wanted to come up just because Randy always has the firing questions. Keep it up, Randy. Guys, in the comments section there, you know what? Keep giving us comments.
Real quick, Griff, before you jump to that, I forgot there was a stat that I wanted to read on here about that.
All right, game. Cool. So, go ahead.
So Brady was pressured on 9.5% of dropbacks in the first half. Mahomes was pressured on 29 of 56 dropbacks, the most of any quarterback in Super Bowl history. Brady's 4 of 30 was the lowest in his Super Bowl career. So that tells you that's some powerful stats on both sides for Brady and for you're not going to beat Brady that way. That's just no. I mean, and Mahomes is not going to win that way.
If we've learned anything from him, you give him a clean pocket, you're going to lose. No. You give Tom Brady a clean pocket, you're going to lose. I just want to address this quickly, just because I'm a bit of a quasi-Saint fan. I don't know if I've said that just because of my dad, but I think Winston is their quarterback next year. Look, it's just as simple as that. We're agreeing with Matt. Here's the other thing, though. With this coming off season, it's just Phil. This may be the most fun off season. This is also. There's one other thing that's been addressed this week that I want to get your opinion on, and everyone in the comments, let me know what you guys think. There have been reports that the NFL head coaching search should start after the Super Bowl, and you know what? I agree with it. Why? The NFL can dominate the news cycle right now when all it is rumors. Imagine if there's all the hires. Obviously, the minority thing is an issue and everything like that. But you know what? If you start the head coaching search now, right now there's a lull in the schedule with the NFL, especially with no combine. The fact that, you know what, if you can have all of November to get your coaches hired, each day there's going to be a new breaking news story and everything like that about a new head coaching get hired. And then also, too, guys like Eric Bieniemy probably get a job now because they're more likely to be prepared for a job interview as opposed to, oh, hey, you have to game plan for an AFC championship game and then get ready to be a coach interview. It just causes for fun and good. It just causes for more entertainment with the NFL and all that stuff. And also, too, speaking of which, with the Combine, big pro day tomorrow. Trevor Lawrence will be throwing for Clemson tomorrow. I believe at noon. I know, Phil, you're not a Tiger. You are a proud Gamecock. Yeah. But and also
whoa. I'm not. I was about to say it because we suck. I'm a proud Chanticleer right now.
I'm not even gonna try. You're a CCU guy. You're a CCU guy. I'm not even gonna. I know it's I think the state bird for Carolina or South Carolina or something like that.
No, not even close. Sorry, no.
So much I know.
Yeah, sorry.
But I just want to get your opinions, though, on the whole head coaching search thing of everything that's going about it. Just if they wait until there, because if you have it in January, some of it kind of hey, it happened, but then also to look, tomorrow there's a playoff game. I just want to get your opinion on what you think about my take on when the head coaching hire should be.
Yeah, I mean, I like that idea. I don't think they're going to do it, no, if I'm being honest, but I like that idea. I mean, I don't know if Eric Bieniemy still leaves. I don't know, but yeah. He definitely deserved interviews. He could at least interview to see if he liked the job he wanted. I do think that does hurt. So I think it's hurt Josh McDaniels at times. I mean, obviously we've seen all this stuff with him, but other coaches could have gotten jobs, but because they go to the head coach, the teams for some reason want to go ahead and lock that up before the Super Bowl. And I'm not really sure why. There might be a reason out there someone else knows that I don't know. I don't know why they do that. There must be some reason because they end up getting some people that I'm okay, you should at least interview the people that are in the Super Bowl, but whatever.
I think it's just an eager beaver kind of thing, they just want to get it done. All right, I was gonna actually do this anyway, but I'm gonna bring this up to you, Phil.
Yeah, let's go.
Griff and Phil, what is a couple of teams that didn't make the playoffs this year that will make it next year? I want to do 2 each from the AFC and 2 from the NFC. And Phil, I'm going to let you go first because you, my friend, are the co-host on the show. I'm going to be the nice guy. Take it away.
Oh, you're so sweet. No, I am going to pull up the stand. My memory sometimes is bad, so I do want to pull up the standings real quick just to make sure I don't get anything wrong. Because like I said, sometimes everybody has brain farts. Come on, nobody's perfect. So I'm just going to pull that up just to make sure I don't forget somebody made the playoff. Because I mentioned to somebody the other day that the Bears made the playoffs. They're like, what? It's like, yeah, they did.
Yeah.
So
they somehow did it.
Yeah. So read the question one more time while I'm looking this up because I can't see.
Who are a couple of teams? We're going to name 4. We're going to name 2 each from the AFC, 2 from the AFC and 2 from the NFC. Two teams who did not make the playoffs that you can see making the playoffs, or that will. I don't want to say that will because we're so far away from it, unfortunately. But 2 teams that you could see right now turning it around in 2021.
Oh, 2 things. I mean, one's going to be sounds very obvious, right? Like, but the Patriots are one of them. I think it depends on the moves they make. I don't think like a lot of people think they're going to constantly regress. I think unless they make some really idiotic moves, I think they're going to still be at least around where they're at, which would put them very close to a playoff spot. So I think the Pats are an easy choice for the AFC. But my other choice would be because he played so well last year, and hopefully he can play better this year, and the team around him can get better. My other choice would be the Chargers, actually, for the AFC. I think Justin Herbert just proved he's a future star, if not a star already. So I think that they definitely could make it. And they were 7-9, so that's an easier turnaround, like than I don't know, the Jets or somebody like that, or Bengals or somebody like that. But the Bengals also with Joe Burrow, that could be a surprise pick.
Yeah. Mine for the AFC.
I didn't know if you want me to name NFC first, but go ahead.
No, let's just do AFC first, and then we'll do NFC. Mine for the AFC, I was going to say New England too, but I'm going to go different because you said them and because it's obvious from the both of us. I'm going to go the Miami Dolphins. I know Danny likes to come out and say they're overrated to get under Big Rat's skin. Shout out to the 2 of you guys, noted guests of the program. But I'm going to say Miami because, look, Miami was just on the outside looking in. They're a team that's only getting better. If they can get a solid running game going and, kind of shape up their offensive line, I think – and you know what? I think Tua's going to have that big leap in his second year, kind of like what we saw with Lamar. I'm not saying he's going to be MVP, but I'm just saying I could see it happening. Part of me also, too, wants to say – I want to say someone different because you said the Chargers, but when I think about it in my head, there's no one else that really comes to mind. So I'm going with the LA Chargers as well. Like, remember, this is a team that was up big on Drew Brees and the Saints on Monday Night Football and Brady back-to-back weeks. They lost. If they win a couple of those games that they blew the leads in, you know what? This is a team that makes the playoffs, or at least is, that 7-9 is 9-7. They also won their last 4 games of the season. So just little things to note there with the Chargers. So yeah, I agree with you. I like Brandon Staley. They brought in Raheem Morris is the Rams. I'm trying to figure out who their coordinator situation. All right, they brought in I think Jeff Ireland or Joe Ireland. Matt, you can correct me on that one, but they brought him in from the Saints Lombardi. They brought him in to run the offense, and you know what? They're going to get Derwin James back and healthy, and you know what? Add a few weapons around Herbert. Herbert makes that second-year leap. He'll be good.
Yeah, I think you're right, Griff. I mean, I think because obviously we're picking it's super early. We don't know what happens in the offseason and all that other stuff. I think the most clear cut is the Chargers and the Pats. I just think that they're the closest. Yeah. Let's just say they come back all the same with the same pieces, plus New England comes back with Hightower and a whole full offseason with Newton or something like that. Just based off that, I still think New England is that team. Miami's another good option. I forgot about Miami, to be honest.
Yeah. With New England, though, most of the guys, everyone kind of forgets about that they have the highest amount of COVID opt-outs this season. So I do think a lot of those guys I think are coming back. Like Marcus Cannon, I think said he's coming back. I heard Brandon Bolden publicly said he's coming back, which helps the run game. Hightower and Chung. McCourty said, I think more than likely he expects both of them to be back. Obviously, that's DMAC, but you know what? DMAC is the leader of that defense right now.
Yes.
Once Hightower comes back, it's Hightower. But let's move on to the NFC. This one's easier. I have more teams in mind. The AFC, I'm just going to say something quickly. I could have gone Vegas, but I still feel like they're a year or 2 away. I think they're still going to be stuck in that 8-8 purgatory this coming season, and also, too, for the Denver Broncos, as many of you know, I do not believe in Vic Fangio and Andrew Luck. And Cincinnati, we'll see. It's just right now with Joe's injury, you don't know. That's all.
Yeah. And I think to shout out Matt and his comment, insert NFC team here. The NFC has always been known for the team, it just shuffles so much. So, honestly, God, and Matt Beast could back up. Okay, maybe this is an extreme, but I'll still say it. Would you be shocked if the Bucs missed the playoffs? This just seems like that happens in the NFC. The team wins the Super Bowl, and then there's always one of the teams that made the Super Bowl, not every year, but that don't make the playoffs the next year. So
it's
I'm not
usually
saying the Bucs are good. Go ahead.
It's usually the team that loses.
That's true.
Remember the Rams.
Also,
there's one other thing I want to mention here. I saw this today. For the last 5 years, every team who has lost the coin toss has won the Super Bowl.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that was And it also said 11 years in a row or something that the team deferred, the winning team deferred to, which I assume that's gonna be I remember the Super Bowl that they did, and everybody's like, "What the world they do that for?" But anyways, so as far as teams in the NFC, I think you could literally go. What is my computer doing? Hold on, my computer is doing something stupid.
It's all good. Do you want me to go first or?
No, hold on. That should be all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
He said
Sorry.
Okay. So there's two teams that I have in mind.
There it goes.
The first is the Minnesota Vikings, because when I look at a lot of the other teams in the NFC, it's really tough to pick just because there are a lot of good teams and there's also a lot of mediocre teams. So I think Minnesota too also has this weird habit of in even number years they miss the playoffs and they suck, but in odd number years for some reason they make it. Look, it was the 2017 season when they almost went to the Super Bowl and were almost the first team to host it, and then 2 years ago is when they made it to the divisional round. So we'll see what happens, but also a lot of it's going to depend on what kind of offensive line they have, because that's the clear weak point in that Minnesota Viking team right now is their offensive line. So if they can fix that, I think there's a chance they win the division. The other one, I'm going with the San Francisco 49ers. I think they bounce back. I think they get all their guys back healthy. Shout out South Carolina, Deebo Samuel back and healthy for a full season. Great fantasy player to have, by the way.
And Kinlaw's a beast too.
Oh, that's another example. Those are two trades last year. Diggs for effectively Justin Jefferson and then DeForest Buckner for Kinlaw. I think those are two trades where both teams won. There's no losing.
No, they drafted Kinlaw.
That's what I'm saying. No, San Francisco traded for the rights to pick Kinlaw.
That's right. You're right.
The Buffalo pick that was traded to Minnesota became Justin Jefferson. Diggs has helped Buffalo greatly. That's the other thing too with Minnesota. Justin Jefferson is a stud. He's a great receiver. Those are my two teams, Minnesota and San Francisco.
So are you saying that anticipating Jimmy G comes back? That's what I was just asking.
You know what? I think there is an outside chance that they go out and get another quarterback. But even if they run it back with Jimmy G, remember, this is a team that healthy went to the Super Bowl 2 years, last season. It's not even saying, they were good 5 years ago and then they've sucked for the last few years. No.
Injuries.
They were in the Super Bowl last year. They were winning it until Mahomes decided to be Mahomes. Remember that. They were up with 6 minutes to go in that game in the fourth quarter.
And I still stand by Kyle Shanahan. I mean, a lot of people give Jimmy G hate, but Kyle Shanahan called a really dumb play for Jimmy G. And yes, he did miss the play, pissed that long throw to the end zone, but it wasn't the time for that throw. But that's because Jimmy G's not that quarterback. But whatever.
This is the same coach too that decided to run the clock out and let the Patriots come back in the game because the Patriots stuffed the Falcons.
That's why I can't pick San Fran. I don't believe in Kyle Shanahan until he proves me otherwise. I don't believe in him. Granted, he gets to the Super Bowl, so you can at least get if that's your goal, just at least get there. Then I guess Kyle Shanahan is your guy. But no. So one thing I'll say is one about Jimmy G coming back to the Niners. Then I'll tell you my two. I say rumors, but it's been on record, I think, that George Kittle said he wants out if Jimmy G's not the quarterback. I don't know if he said it like that or he said he wants Jimmy G to be the quarterback. I do know that. It's in some fashion he said
him, Mostert. There's been a few guys to come out and say that we want Jimmy as our quarterback. I don't think they'll leave if he does. But
it might not be up to them. But
cause some friction. I'm just saying that I like San Francisco, what they got going on. That's why I think that we clearly know Nick Mullins is not the answer at quarterback. Hell, they could trade up because there was rumors that I heard that they were interested in Zach Wilson, the BYU quarterback. So who knows what can happen?
He's actually being rumored to be above Fields. Well, and we'll get that in our draft.
Who beat him first this year though?
Wait. That would be the Coastal Carolina shot to clears. We humbled that fool.
The Mormons were not ready for that smoke in that day.
Down in mullets. They all ready for the mullets.
Oh man! As soon as I saw the photos of as soon as I saw the Coastal players with all their mullets, I'm like, BYU does not stand a chance.
Yes,
so go on with your. So say your teams. So say your teams.
So obviously, I agree with Matt. So I really feel honestly, there's very few teams. Honestly, looking at this, there's one team that I could see not making the playoffs guaranteed. Right. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock them off first. I think we could bet on the Lions aren't making the playoffs. Yeah. I mean, but they were 5-11, so they weren't far off. I just don't think anyone trusts that Lions team. I'm not saying Jared Goff is the answer. I'm just saying I think the Lions are a hot mess. I think everybody could willingly bet on that.
There's
and then
years of suffering ahead for them.
Right, and I think maybe the only other one, depending on what they do with Wentz and /Hurts / draft another quarterback, whatever, is the Eagles are kind of like just not. They're kind of a hot mess right now. So who knows? But I'm not saying I'd be shocked if the Eagles won the NFC East because that's how it works in the NFC East. So what I'm getting at is I think every other team, depending on what they did to fix their team, have the components to make the playoffs. I'm not saying to win Super Bowls or anything like that, but I think they have components. So the NFC is crazy. But the two teams that I'm thinking to pick to make the playoffs that didn't make it last year, let's see. I think the first one to me would have to be the Cardinals because they just barely missed it last year. But I think the Cardinals would be my pick. I think they're kind of one of those teams that like they were doing really well and then people started kind of figure them out, and so they kind of like slumped a little bit. Plus like some other aspects to that too.
Kyler wasn't 100%. He hurt himself, I believe, right around Thanksgiving. Right.
So Kyler was hurt, and that's one of the examples as well. So I think if they can put it together, they can turn it. All they needed 2 more wins to make the playoffs. So, so I think they could do it. So that's gonna be my pick, the Cardinals, and then the other team. That didn't make the playoffs.
Can I say something quickly?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say the Cardinals too. But I remember last year in March, I think we did this where I think I said that. I said the Colts and the Steelers, and then I forgot who I said for the NFC. But I remember I said the Cardinals, and I didn't want to say them 2 years in a row. The Cardinals are third on my list because if you don't know by now, I am a Kyler Murray fan. I like Kyler Murray. So that's the one thing.
And someone said it in the chat, but my other team's going to – I gave you a gimme in the AFC. I think this is kind of a gimme if all things – if things don't fall apart. But still, I'm going to give you another gimme in the NFC, and that's the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys, if they're all healthy, like I'm not saying they're going to be. I don't believe in McCarthy, but at the same time, with a healthy Dak, if he plays, and he comes back, like I just don't see how the Cowboys can't make the playoffs. But to answer Randy's question, because Randy was asking, do the Cowboys re-sign Dak or do they get a different quarterback? I think what the Cowboys are doing. This is typical Jerry Jones, right? I think what he's doing is. Like he's seeing the quarterback carousel going on in the offseason, right? So he's waiting to see who's really available. I could be complete. I have no source to go to that, but that just seems like a Jerry Jones move, and he wants to make sure like a Rodgers or a Watson aren't available to him before he signs. And Dak should look at that. Like Dak should legit see. Look, you're not going to get like now. Maybe there's stuff going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. So I'm just going based off of what I think knows like real sources to it. But I just think that I think that's why they're waiting on Dak, and I think eventually that might mean they franchise tag him. But if I'm Dak, I don't know, man. I don't like that if I'm Dak.
I think if you're Dak, you know what? After what happened this year, you take long term. It's long term or bust for him. Honestly,
and that's what he wants apparently, and that's going to be hard to get somewhere else. So I think if he doesn't get it in Dallas, it's going to be hard. I don't know if anybody would take that risk.
I think
it's worth the risk. I think it's worth
my worst case for him is that he does take franchise for this year, but then 22 he's in a new home. That's my opinion on that. I was going to say the Cowboys were another team I was going to look at, but look, the world's better when their fans are miserable. Their defense is still very bad. That's one thing. I know they got Dan. I like the hire as Dan Quinn as defensive coordinator for the Cowboys, but they got to get the pieces for defense, man. Their defense was terrible this year. For like as bad as their QB situation was, they had also too. One other thing is I expect Ezekiel Elliott to have a better season this coming year.
And honestly, yeah.
I'm not saying he's going to be offensive player of the year, but I'm just saying like I expect him to be a better player in 2021.
I completely agree with the Dan Quinn. As much credit. Much horrible like as a head coach he's been. Like as a defensive coordinator, he's really good. One great example of that is Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles has been amazing as a defensive coordinator. It's going to get him a new head coaching job, and we'll see how he does then. Maybe he just rotted in New York because everybody does, but yeah,
he was way too conservative. He was way too conservative with his play calling with the Jets, though. Like Big Rat said it multiple times. I've gone back and looked at it. You know what? There's a lot of times where they were on the other team's side of the field, like they were on the 40-yard line where they punted it at like when they could have gone for it. There's just certain situations with Todd Bowles where he had play calling that bit him in the butt. So it could get him a job, but like and also to a Dan Quinn. He was the defensive coordinator for the Legion of Boom. That's just one thing to remember.
Which is what I was going to say. He did well. Now, granted, he had the talent there. So the big key is, does Dallas let him do? Because that's the big. If Dallas lets him get his pieces, no matter who the players are, Like if they're good players, like bring them in. Maybe he gets rid of some that people would have said, "Whoa, what are you doing?" But like if it works and he can make it work, I think that's what Dallas needs because they kept drafting offensive players like CeeDee Lamb. Like I think someone made this. I don't know if it was in yours. I think it was in yours. I think Bobby said it. I think. Quote me if I'm wrong. But he says something about why would you draft CeeDee Lamb? Like, yeah, he's a great player, but like he didn't need. That didn't feel a need that added to your offense. And I think that's the problem with Jerry Jones. He sees flash and goes after that instead of helping the defense.
I'm gonna put my hand up just so I can get a
Oh, you're good.
Yeah. I think it was Bobby back on Saturday with him, Big Rat, and I. But the one thing that I'm gonna say right now with the Cowboys, because last year too, CeeDee Lamb was the best player on the board, but exactly didn't fill a need. Because look, they already had Michael Gallup, they had Amari Cooper, they had Zeke, they had Dak. Their questions are tight end. It's like, and also too, they like I said, they need a cornerback desperately. That's why I love Patrick Surtain from Alabama. The Cowboys last year are where the Patriots are this year, Phil. Where I'm going to be honest with you, I don't want to see them reach for someone at 15. It's like, so say for example, if like, which more than likely, Lawrence, Wilson, Fields, and Lance are all gone before 15. I think it happens. The Patriots, I think, you know what, don't reach for a Mac Jones. I know we're going off topic, but it's just something I want to get in. Go for the best position player that there is. If that's a linebacker, if that's a defensive edge, if it's a defensive edge, if that's a defensive tackle, if it's a wide receiver, if it's a tight end. I won't say cornerback or safety because I still think we're good in that position. Go for that player because you know why? Good defensive players are not found that often later rounds in the draft. There's some players that do emerge, sure. But the difference between first-round receiver, or first-round like linebacker to fifth-round linebacker is huge. So that's just one thing I wanted to get in quickly.
Yeah, and to answer Randy's question about Darnold, like do the Jets trade Darnold? I think if it helps them get Watson. Now this is not me. Like Danny would know. I mean, Danny reads a lot more. Of course, that's his team. So honestly, I'll defer to Danny on most of the stuff about as far as what I'm about to say. But I will say, like, I think they trade Darnold only to get capital to get Watson. I think otherwise they might. I mean, unless they get a deal, like they are, like apparently teams are interested. So unless they get a deal, they feel like they can't pass up on. I don't think they take a quarterback though. I think not with their first pick. I think they trade it down or either they get something else to help them. I just don't think they're going quarterback. I don't know. That's just my take though. I said that day one. I said if you don't get Trevor Lawrence, you shouldn't take quarterback high. I just don't think the other guys are unless you feel like they can come in. I don't know. I just don't think the other guys are NFL ready. I think Trevor Lawrence is the only one. Mac Jones kind of looks NFL ready, but I still wouldn't reach for him. So I agree with you on that too.
The other reason too is because a lot of the comparisons I've been hearing for Mac Jones is Kirk Cousins, and honestly, I don't want Kirk. I've been, you know what? The Patriots have the 15th pick and the 46th pick. Mac Jones at 46, I don't mind. Mac Jones at 15, I got a problem with that.
I don't think he lasts till 46 though, but yeah, I agree.
I know. I'm just saying. That's what I'm just saying. Like I
agree.
I don't like it in the first round. If it's in the second round, because like Matt Beast may have something to say about this, but a quarterback I look at for the Patriots potentially is a Felipe Franks, who will be available on Friday or Saturday of the draft. So someone like that, like a Felipe Franks, a Kellen Mond from Texas A&M, someone, you know what? So if we can get and then develop them. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Don't overshoot your shot. But as for Sam,
while you're talking, go ahead. You're good.
Okay, cool. As for Sam Darnold, I think that if the Jets decide to go quarterback, I won't be shocked either way. If they draft a quarterback, I don't think they're going Watson because I think that they want to build their draft capital in their draft stock. I don't think they just want to throw it away for all this whole, to quote Eminem, one shot, one opportunity. That's what it is with Watson. I'm not saying that he's going to be bad all of a sudden. I'm just saying that, look, if you wait until long after free agency to do it, you're not going to get it done. You're going to have so many, this is a deal with Watson that this has to happen in the next 6 weeks. But for it to happen, because think about it, he signs there, free agents will flock. If he waits till longer after free agency and he's still a Texan, it's not happening. And also, Big Rat said this on here. If this Watson thing is not done by draft night, he is a Texan. Because the only way I can see Darnold getting traded is if they draft if it's not for Watson, is Sam Darnold. If they decide to take Zach Wilson, you know how Josh Rosen was traded on the draft night? I think that happens, where he's traded for future considerations. I
agree. I would agree with what Matt was saying too about Mac Jones. I think I think he was in the best situation with Bama, which is why I think the best situation for him, even though I know that there's he needs more. Obviously, we need help and we need to be able to draft some receivers and pick some guys in free agency. But I think New England would be a good place for him, or if not New England, somewhere he can sit behind somewhere. I just don't think he's going to get that.
And just to post this up,
yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
I just want to address this, Matt. I'm not saying Felipe Franks is going to be a day one starter. I'm just saying Felipe Franks is a guy they could develop to start maybe in 3 to 4 years from now. That's what I'm trying to say with Felipe Franks.
Yeah. But one thing I was going to say, the guy that I would love, I was just looking at projections that I don't know if he's going to last to that, but if the Pats could get Kyle Pitts, even though I know we drafted 2 tight ends last year, but
Kyle Pitts, or even if I think Waddle's an opportunity as well at 15. I think Waddle could be there at 15. That's all. And right here before, we have actually one comment.
Phil's a homer. You always say that.
This one I want to talk about because I've been on record on this podcast before saying that out of any player from that 2018 draft class who's due for a big extension, I don't think Josh Allen gets Patrick Mahomes money, but he gets at least close to $40 million. I think Josh Allen does sign a big deal. He is Buffalo's quarterback going forward. No question about that.
Yeah, I agree. I think he gets a massive contract. I don't know when, but I think he definitely gets it. Yeah, for sure.
I have underrated 2 players.
But, yeah,
I have 2 players.
Yep.
Kadarius Toney from Minnesota. And I got him. I got Rashard Bateman from Kadarius Toney from Florida. Excuse me. I feel awful about that. There's a couple other guys I'm trying to think of right now. Kadarius Toney is a guy I like. Good receiver from Florida. Kellen Mond from Texas A&M is another one. Also, Xavier Collins from Tulsa.
Let me tell you,
I think Collins is going to be a really good linebacker in this league.
I'll name 2 South Carolina boys. Well, one's from South Carolina, played at South Carolina, and the other one played at Clemson. But I'm telling you, I still am big on, and I'm not a Clemson fan, but Travis Etienne as a running back, I still think he's the best running back going in this draft. I know that's a big hot take because Najee Harris is in this draft, but I still think Travis Etienne is going to be the guy. I think someone's going to get a steal because he's not going to be that high. I just Googled to see quick projections, and I think the highest I saw was the Steelers taking him at 24. I don't know. I don't even know if he will go in the first round, but I think Travis Etienne is one. And the other one is my boy from South Carolina, J.C. Horn. I think he's going to be a good cornerback in the league. I don't know if you know this, but Stephon Gilmore, what college did he go to?
South Carolina.
That would be South Carolina.
Yeah, South Carolina does have a lot of good NFL talent right now, though. Even though the program hasn't been the best recently, even these programs who aren't really that good still produce great NFL talent. Even you have Asante Samuel Jr. out of Florida State. Amari Rodgers out of Clemson again. Etienne, I think, will go in that 20s range. Etienne will go between 21 to 30, in my opinion.
But the team I did see him go to would be a great team. I don't want him to go there, but the Steelers, someone that just is about to lose, could possibly lose their running back. That would be a good spot.
I think Connor's gone.
Yeah, I agree because I just don't think you pay him. I don't know. I'm not saying he's bad. But I just don't think he's good enough.
It's a great story, and he's a local kid. Yeah. But you know what? If you can get a better option in the draft, also with the whole Juju's a big question mark because he's a free agent. Pittsburgh's got a lot of questions to address this offseason. It's going to get ugly.
They do. I'll answer Randy's question first if you want.
You go first.
Do the Patriots get rid of Gilmore? I think it's almost a lock that we trade him. I wish we didn't. I just think in order to get more capital, maybe we don't. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think J.C. Jackson's the guy you got to sign. I would be so mad if we end up trading him instead.
Yeah,
we'll see.
There's one team that I think if you're this team, you are calling Bill Belichick to get Gilmore. That's the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns need defense.
I think
if Gilmore goes, if he stays, great. But if he goes, I'm not going to be shocked. I'm not going to be like, oh, we miss you, Stephon. Obviously, he was depoy in 2019. But look, Bill also has a habit for this as well. Keep the younger guys, move the other guys. Because Gilmore's in that prime, but he's on almost near that tail end of his prime. So
he had some bad games this year. He had some good ones.
That's the thing too. He was also banged up for the year and then COVID. Yeah. So
I think a lot of cornerback play gets ridiculed more than it should be because I think there's just too many good talented receivers in this league. You're not going to have a great the shutdown corner just hardly exists anymore. And prove me gladly type somebody if I'm wrong. I think there's really good corners. That's not what I'm saying. But Gilmore had a really good year when he won Defensive Player of the Year. Like, I just don't like. It's just like I think it's just hard to maintain that. I guess is what I'm getting at. And I think a random team, but a team that probably needs to call them too. Griff is Kansas City. I think they could use some cornerback help. I think they.
Know what? No, I think they're good. They got the L'Jarius Sneed. They've got Tyrann Mathieu. It's like I said. I think the whole team just had a bad game on Sunday. That's what I think it is. Like we say this too about New England. Like remember, we lost to the New York Giants Super Bowl 46. Actually, no. I'll give you a better example. Super Bowl 52. Lose to the Eagles. We didn't play our best game. What happened the next year? We ran it back. We went back and won't beat the Rams. So I'm just saying.
Because we had Hightower. Just saying.
Yeah. I'm just looking.
I would die on that hill because it's true. Totally different team without Hightower.
Yeah. J.C. Horn I see. The other guy I see right here, I think I may butcher this name for South Carolina running backs, is Israel Mukumu.
What? South Carolina running back?
No, South Carolina defensive back.
Oh, yeah. You probably I would butcher it too. I can't remember how to pronounce his name, but yeah.
Like there's him. There's Elijah Molden from Washington, which I'm going to get. I've been talking to him. Future guest is going to be Alex Larson, Edge is the Best. Will be coming on soon to talk about. I'm going to try to do that. I want to get him on to talk about there. I got some plans for some big guests coming up soon, but also I'm going to take the time to announce that I've been doing 2 episodes a week for about the last 5 months now. So there will be no new podcast next week unless something big happens, guys. I just want to take a week off just to kind of like recoup and just, kind of like mentally, like I'm in a good place mentally. It's just, I kind of want to like mentally check myself out and not have to worry about the podcast for a week. So like I said, anything can happen. And if some big news breaks, I'll be on to cover it. But if nothing happens and it's a slow week, I will be back in 2 weeks. So just something to watch out for where I'm probably going to start going towards. I'm going to try to do 2, but if I only get 1 done, guys, it's just a fair warning right now. The only other thing with this podcast I want to announce is that I was looking at some of my upload dates from the summer. There was times where I was doing like I did a podcast like a month apart or like 6 weeks apart. That's not the case. There will be at least 1 upload a week going forward until probably after the draft. That's where I may take another week. I may do like once every 2 weeks. So that's just something I wanted to announce.
That's good. I get that.
Moving on to the next question. Do you think the Browns do even better next year? I got a hot take for you. They're winning the AFC North next year.
Sorry, I'm just wanting to text messages. You said they're winning. Oh, I think they are too. I don't know. Realistically, it should be the Ravens, but I don't. Yeah, I don't think that's. I don't know if I. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I 100% agree with you, but I get that take.
The Ravens have been on a downward spiral ever since you came on here and said they wouldn't beat the Titans in the divisional round a year ago. The first big take on this podcast.
I'm just saying. And I'll say this. Eventually, the Chiefs having a bye week might have caught up to them too. Obviously they won 2 games, but I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe that's a terrible take. I don't know.
Exactly. What was the only thing I was going to say? Guys, if there's no more questions for today, Phil, is there any other points you'd like to elaborate on?
I think this was good. We don't want to go too long. Obviously, we can talk all day about sports, but yeah,
exactly.
Thank you for the comments again. Shout out to everybody that was here, Matt Desu and Randy and Pinko and I guess Danny.
Yeah. Do we thank Daniel for this comment?
Yeah. He's a homer too, though. Like that's the thing. He knows it.
Oh, right here.
Jess's comment real quick.
When will the Cowboys go to the Super Bowl? When pigs fly.
When they get a defense. When they get a defense.
When they get a defense.
When Jerry Jones no longer exists. Sorry, I'll say it the nice way. But
yep. I have been on this for a while. I've said this.
Al Davis,
they need a football guy to be their fucking GM. They need a football guy to be their GM. Straight up.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
We can talk all day about the Cowboys and how horrible they are managed, but as a talented team not making it, that's anyways, I have no words for them.
Exactly. The other thing I want to say, guys, too, is these live streams like I did on Saturday and I did tonight, there will be many more of them coming this offseason. I want to get one like Phil, maybe do one like where we have Matt in here, Markeem, Big Rat, like all these different guys pulling up from the YWC. Get them in here to talk football. Shoot the shit.
I think a good one would be for the draft. Like you could have, I don't know how many people. I think you can have 5 on a live stream.
5 or 6.
Yeah, 5 or 6. It'd be cool, like going through and doing like a mock draft of your own. Like everybody picks, like you just randomize it or something like that, and then you have like, all right, someone has the Jags. So all right, if you're the Jags organization, who are you taking? And then it's the next team. I think that'd be kind of cool.
You know what? We did that. Because last year's mock draft was you, Alex, and I, and we went around and just all said who we think was going to go in this order.
Yeah.
I think, you know what? I'm going to do that where I get, because there's a lot of people who I know who follow college football, like you, Joe, Markeem, Big Rat. Maybe get a group like those guys, and then I just do a random number order, like a random number list where it's like, hey, first overall is Phil, second overall Big Rat, third overall this guy, fourth overall so-and-so, and then you say
just
what each team's going to do. Yeah. We could predict trades and stuff because I feel like trades may happen, but you know what? We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But anyway, guys, episode 64 is in the books. 65, like I said, maybe next week, maybe in a couple weeks. I don't know. I'm going to take some time away. But anyway, guys, listen to all the past podcasts now available on iHeartRadio. I'm going to keep hammering that. I'm on iHeartRadio.
I can't do a heart, but yeah,
iHeartRadio, baby. I'm on there. But anyway, guys, thanks for the comments. I'm going to put these up just in quick order. Awesome podcast. Thanks for the entertainment. Good shift, fellas. Love to see it, guys. Well, anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. And we'll see you next time on YWC Football Talk. 64 episodes in the bag. The road to 100 continues.
Crazy.